Welcome to Locked and Loaded Sports. It's time to lock in, load up, and win big. If you're serious about sports and love cashing in on solid picks, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get to work. In this video, we will discuss Week 12 NFL picks for every game on the Sunday slate, using a blend of historical data, advanced sports analytics, and real-world sentiment to deliver sharp and sometimes contrarian betting picks. Now let's get into it. Two franchises with proud histories and passionate fan bases square off in Chicago as the Pittsburgh Steelers visit the Chicago Bears in a matchup with multiple layers to unpack. The Chicago Bears return home fresh off an emotional 19-17 comeback victory in Minnesota, a win that continues to define their rise as one of the NFC's toughest young teams. Caleb Williams once again showed poise beyond his years, guiding the offense into scoring range when everything was on the line. Cairo Santos drilled 4 field goals, including the game winner at the buzzer, and Devin Duvernay's electric kickoff return set the stage for the final drive. Chicago's defense controlled the game for 3 quarters, and despite multiple injuries at key positions, including wide receiver depth concerns, linebacker TJ Shaw Edwards' ongoing absence, and several limited participants throughout the week, the Bears found a way to win on the road in a hostile environment. Now, back at Soldier Field, they step into a setting that has historically treated them well. Chicago is 11, 4-1 against the spread in its last 16 home games, and has covered 6 of its last 8 overall. Against Pittsburgh specifically, the Bears have been dominant. They are 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 meetings, and 4-1 straight up in their last 5 home matchups with the Steelers. Even with a banged-up receiving core, Chicago's defense at home has been the stabilizing force, producing an undertrend in 4 of their last 5 home games as they dictate pace and field position. The Pittsburgh Steelers, meanwhile, enter Week 12 with a very different set of questions. Their Week 11 win over Cincinnati looked emphatic on the scoreboard, but it came with a price. Aaron Rodgers exited with a wrist injury, thrusting Mason Rudolph into action for the second half. The Steelers also lost running back Jaylen Warren to an ankle issue and wide receiver Kayshawn Williams to a concussion. Even more troubling, several defensive starters, including Darius Slay and Alex Highsmith, are nursing injuries that affect coverage and pass rush consistency. Pittsburgh's defense generated big scoring plays in Week 11, but relying on defensive touchdowns to keep games competitive is rarely sustainable. The road has also not been kind to the Steelers. They are 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 away games, 2-5 straight up on the road. Pittsburgh traditionally leans on a bruising defensive identity, but their injury situation, combined with travel and uncertain quarterback availability, creates significant challenges, especially against the Bears team that has become more confident by the week. Add the matchup history, the directional trends, and the current health of both rosters, and Chicago steps into Week 12 with clear advantages in stability, momentum, and situational strength. Chicago's home field efficiency, the Steelers' injury concerns, especially at quarterback, and the Bears' recent consistency point toward Chicago. We are getting locked and loaded with the Bears to win straight up. Please remember to comment your favorite picks of the week. It helps our channel out a bunch. Thank you. For our next matchup, we have the Baltimore Ravens hosting the New York Jets at M&T Bank Stadium in a matchup that has historically tilted heavily in Baltimore's favor. The Ravens enter off a hard-fought Week 11 win over the Cleveland Browns, highlighted by Lamar Jackson's mobility and a thrilling rushing touchdown by Mark Andrews in the 4th quarter. Despite injury concerns, including Jackson's knee and Marlon Humphrey, Baltimore's depth and balanced offensive attack give them a clear edge. The Jets, meanwhile, are coming off a 27-14 road loss to the Patriots with key players such as Garrett Wilson's sideline and multiple offensive and defensive injuries limiting their effectiveness. Quarterback Justin Fields and running back Breece Hall struggled to generate momentum against a strong Patriots defense, and they now face a Ravens squad that excels at controlling both sides of the ball. Historical trends favor Baltimore decisively. The Ravens are 10-1 straight up and 11-2 against the spread in their last 13 games versus the Jets, including a perfect 5-0 record at home. Conversely, New York is 2-9 straight up in its last 11 road contests. Even accounting for a few Ravens injuries, the combination of home field advantage, depth, and historical dominance makes it very difficult to choose against Baltimore. The Ravens are expected to win comfortably on Sunday, continuing their trend of strong performances against the Jets at home. We are getting locked and loaded with the Ravens to cover. Friendly reminder to hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you. This Sunday, the New England Patriots travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals in a matchup that heavily favors the visiting team. The Patriots come off a strong 27-14 win over the New York Jets, with rookie running back Trevion Henderson carrying the load and quarterback Drake May connecting efficiently with wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Even with some injuries on the defensive line, the Patriots demonstrated depth and balance on both sides of the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage and capitalizing on turnovers. The Bengals, in contrast, suffered a 34-12 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, with quarterback Joe Burrow sidelined with a toe injury. backup quarterback Joe Flacco struggled, and with the absence of key defensive players Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart, Cincinnati was unable to generate pressure, allowing the Steelers to dominate offensively. The only notable attack the Bengals wide receivers had was Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey. That's not going to help your team get a W. Historically, this matchup has strongly favored the Patriots. New England is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Cincinnati and 5-0 straight up in their last 5 games on the road at Cincinnati. Conversely, the Bengals have been 1-4 straight up. Additionally, the Bengals have struggled this season with 1 win and 7 losses straight up in their last 8 games and 2 wins and 6 losses against the spread, whereas the Patriots have been strong on the road with 7 wins and 1 loss against the spread and 5 wins straight up in their last 5 road games. Even considering home field advantage, the combination of current form, injuries, and historical dominance makes the Patriots the clear favorites. We are getting locked and loaded with the Patriots to cover. Our next Sunday game to discuss has the Detroit Lions hosting the New York Giants in a pivotal Week 12 matchup. The Lions are coming off a 16-9 road loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, a game in which they struggled to generate offensive momentum and failed to cover the spread. Quarterback Jared Goff faced constant pressure, and the running game was largely contained by the Eagles' defense. Despite this setback, Detroit remains a formidable team at home, having won 18 of their last 23 home games. Historically, the Lions have generally performed well against the Giants, winning 4 of the last 5 matchups outright. The New York Giants, meanwhile, suffered a 27-20 road loss to the Green Bay Packers in Week 11, but they did manage to cover the spread. Quarterback Jay Winston orchestrated several promising drives, and the Giants' defense kept them competitive throughout the game despite offensive challenges. Although the Giants have now lost 5 consecutive games overall and on the road, they have consistently performed well against the spread when facing the Lions in Detroit, covering 5 of the last 6 road games at Ford Field. When examining the trends, Detroit is 19-6 straight up over their last 25 games and 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 home contests. However, the Lions have historically struggled to cover the spread against the Giants at home, going 1-5 in their last 6 games in Detroit against New York. The Giants, while winless on the road in their last 5 games, have a proven ability to remain competitive against the Lions in Detroit. Both teams have frequently hit the over in scoring totals, but for the purposes of the spread, New York's ability to keep games close in Detroit is significant. Taking all of these factors into account, while Detroit has the potential to win the game outright, historical trends and recent performances strongly suggest that the New York Giants will keep it closer than the general public might expect. We are getting locked and loaded with the Giants to cover, with a lean on the over. If you appreciate this content, please hit that like button. Thanks in advance. Moving right along. The Green Bay Packers will host their NFC North rivals, the Minnesota Vikings, in a critical Week 12 divisional matchup at Lambeau Field. The Packers are favored in what promises to be a heated contest between 2 teams with a long-standing rivalry. The Green Bay Packers are coming off a road victory against the New York Giants, a game in which quarterback Jordan Love played through a shoulder injury and threw a crucial touchdown. Running back Josh Jacobs left the game with a knee issue, and his availability will be a key factor in Green Bay's offensive approach. On the defensive side, cornerback Nate Hobbs and defensive lineman Lucas Van Ness are questionable due to injuries, but the Packers have historically been strong at home, winning 13 of their last 19 games in Lambeau Field. The Minnesota Vikings arrive in Green Bay after a narrow loss to the Chicago Bears. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy played through a bruised throwing hand, and the team is missing key contributors, including center Ryan Kelly and linebacker Jonathan Greenard. The Vikings have struggled on the road this season, failing to secure a win in their last 5 games away from home. Historically, Minnesota has kept these matchups close, covering in 4 of the last 6 meetings against Green Bay, but Lambeau Field has not been kind, with the Vikings winning only 6 of their last 20 trips. Both teams did not cover last week, and when these 2 teams meet, they tend to produce high-scoring games in this rivalry, with the total going over in 4 of the last 5 contests in Green Bay. Despite the Vikings' ability to stay competitive, the Packers' home field advantage, combined with their offensive momentum and key victories this season, gives them the edge. We are getting locked and loaded with the Packers to cover. Our next matchup to break down has the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Nashville. To take on the Tennessee Titans in an interconference matchup, the Seahawks are coming off a close 21-19 loss to the Los Angeles Rams on the road. Quarterback Sam Darnold struggled with 4 interceptions, but the team showed resilience with a late drive that just fell short of the end zone. Running back Kenneth Walker III had a late touchdown and a strong showing, while the defense made several key stops despite the turnovers. Seattle has been extremely strong away from home, winning 10 of their last 11 road games and covering the spread in each of their last 5. Historically against the Titans, Seattle is 7 wins and 3 losses, though they have struggled to consistently cover the spread in Nashville, going 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 push in recent trips. The total score has tended to stay under in 7 of the last 10 games between these two teams. The Tennessee Titans are coming off a narrow 16-13 home loss to the Houston Texans. Rookie quarterback Cam Ward led a late touchdown drive, but the Titans were unable to secure the win. Wide receiver Calvin Ridley suffered a season-ending injury, which significantly limits Tennessee's passing game. The Titans' defense played well, recording 4 sacks and limiting the run, but offensive struggles continue to hold the team back. Tennessee has now lost 5 straight games, both straight up and against the spread at home, and the total has gone over in 6 of their last 7 home contests. Key matchups will include Seattle's offensive line versus Tennessee's defensive front, Kenneth Walker III running against the Titans linebackers, and the Titans' limited passing game against Seattle's secondary. With Ridley out in the struggling offense, Tennessee will likely have difficulty keeping up with the Seahawks' balanced attack. We are getting locked and loaded with Seattle to cover. Before we discuss our next pick, we wanted to point out that we started an Instagram page. Check it out. There's a link in the description. Let's keep this train moving right along to our next matchup. This week in Kansas City, the Chiefs host the Indianapolis Colts in what shapes up to be a compelling AFC matchup. Kansas City comes off a tough 22-19 road loss to the Denver Broncos after their bye week, with their playoff window closing. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes continues to lead the offense both through the air and on the ground, while Travis Kelce remains the centerpiece of the attack last week with 9 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. Running back Kareem Hunt also contributed in the absence of Isaiah Pacheco, keeping the Chiefs' ground game active. Despite the close defeat, the Chiefs have been historically dominant at home, winning 17 of their last 18 games at Arrowhead and covering the spread in 5 of their last 6 home contests. The Indianapolis Colts enter Arrowhead after a 31-25 victory over the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin. Rookie tight end Tyler Warren shined with 8 catches for 99 yards, and wide receiver Alec Pierce added a touchdown on 4 receptions for 84 yards. Running back Jonathan Taylor continued his season-long excellence, rushing for more yards than any back has this season. Veteran receiver Michael Pittman Jr. had a slow day, but the Colts offense was balanced enough to secure the win. Indianapolis has also historically performed well against Kansas City on the road, covering the spread in 8 of their last 10 games at Arrowhead and winning 8 of 10 in those contests. Looking at historical trends, this matchup is very close. Kansas City dominates at home, but Indianapolis has enjoyed strong success in recent trips to Arrowhead. Kansas City is 17-8 straight up in its last 25 games, but has struggled against the Colts historically, going 2-8 against the spread in its last 10 home games against Indianapolis. Meanwhile, Indianapolis is 5-1 straight up in its last 6 games and has been effective covering in Kansas City. Given the combination of Kansas City's home field advantage and the Colts' historical success in Arrowhead matchups, this game projects to be a close contest. We are getting locked and loaded with Colts to cover. Agree or disagree? Do you think the Chiefs bounce back and cover at home? Drop your pick in the comments. Our next game to analyze is the Arizona Cardinals hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 12 at State Farm Stadium, and both teams are coming off contrasting results last week. The Jacksonville Jaguars picked up a big road win over the Los Angeles Chargers, while the Arizona Cardinals fell to their NFC West divisional rivals, the San Francisco 49ers, in a tough home loss. Arizona enters this matchup with just 1 win in their last 8 games, and their home record has been inconsistent. Over the last 5 games at home, the Cardinals have only won once and covered the spread just once. Injuries to key offensive players, including quarterback Kyler Murray and wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr., have forced Arizona to rely on backups, which has limited their offensive efficiency. Despite these challenges, the Cardinals have historically had Jacksonville's number, winning 4 of the last 5 meetings and covering the spread in 4 of those 5 games. The Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off a strong performance in their Week 11 win against the Chargers, showcasing a dominant rushing attack and solid play from quarterback Trevor Lawrence. However, Jacksonville has struggled on the road over the years, winning only 3 of their last 16 road games and covering inconsistently. Injuries in their secondary could limit their flexibility against a Cardinals team that knows how to exploit mistakes. After a dominant win last week against the Chargers combined with the lackluster performance of the Cardinals, we anticipate the public to hammer the Jaguars this week, and that gives us trepidation and makes our spidey sense start to tingle. When you weigh the historical trends, home field advantage, and recent performances, the edge goes to the Arizona Cardinals. Despite their offensive struggles and injury concerns, Arizona's familiarity with Jacksonville and track record at home give them a real chance to keep this game close. We are getting locked and loaded with the Cardinals to cover, with a lean on buying half a point to keep it within a field goal. And now we look ahead to a critical matchup for 2 teams fighting to stay relevant in the American Football Conference. The Las Vegas Raiders are hosting the Cleveland Browns at Allegiant Stadium, with the Raiders currently favored. The Raiders come into this contest after a tough showing on Monday Night Football, suffering a 33-16 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Las Vegas's offense was stagnant, managing only 27 rushing yards and seeing their quarterback, Geno Smith, sacked 4 times. They struggled to keep star defensive end Max Crosby's early momentum going. However, this week provides a major opportunity for a get-right game. Playing at home, the Raiders have a chance to exploit an opponent facing an almost unprecedented level of offensive crisis. The Cleveland Browns are reeling after a heartbreaking loss to the rival Baltimore Ravens, 23-16, while their defense, led by the incomparable Myles Garrett, put up a heroic effort, including a spectacular interception return for a touchdown. The offense simply could not sustain drives. The news coming out of Cleveland is grim. Starting quarterback Dillon Gabriel is in concussion protocol and is doubtful to play. This means the Browns are preparing to start rookie Shedder Sanders, who struggled mightily in his debut relief effort last week. To compound that challenge, starting tackles Cam Robinson and Jack Conklin sustained injuries in the Week 11 game, leaving the entire offensive line in a state of instability. When analyzing this matchup, we must focus on the most critical on-field variable, the quarterback and the protection he receives. The Browns are taking a struggling rookie quarterback, putting him behind a potentially patchwork offensive line, and sending him on the road against a defense that features a major pass rushing threat in Max Crosby. While the Raiders themselves are not an offensive juggernaut, they are healthy at the quarterback position and benefit immensely from the dire injury situation in Cleveland. The historical trends with the Raiders dominating this head-to-head matchup only reinforce the current week analysis. The Raiders should cover the spread, but we are getting locked and loaded with the Raiders to win straight up. Our next game to break down is set for its biggest rivalry matchup of Week 12 as the Philadelphia Eagles travel to Arlington, Texas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are favored on the road, setting the stage for a tight, high-stakes game. The Eagles come in with a league-best 8-2 record after a hard-fought 16-9 victory over the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football. That win was driven entirely by their defense, which stifled the Lions and stopped them on every 4th down attempt. However, the victory came at a terrible cost. All-Pro right tackle Lane Johnson suffered a significant foot injury, a Lisfranc sprain, and is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks. Losing Johnson is a devastating blow as he anchors the right side of the Eagles' vaunted offensive line, which is the foundation of their running game and their ability to protect their quarterback, Jalen Hurts. The Cowboys enter this contest riding the high of a dominant 33-16 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football. Quarterback Dak Prescott was highly efficient, throwing for 4 touchdowns, and the defense was energized by the return of key defensive backs and the first action for recent trade acquisitions like defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. Dallas looked like a team finally finding its identity and is now coming home to face their biggest rival with a full head of steam and a healthy, star-studded roster. This game has historically been one of massive swings, with the home team holding a distinct advantage. Dallas is 6-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 7 home matchups against Philadelphia. When you couple that historical home dominance with the new, significant injury for the Eagles, the dynamic of this matchup completely changes. The absence of Lane Johnson means the Dallas defensive front will be relentless in attacking the Eagles' right side. This will disrupt the Eagles' offense and put immense pressure on Jalen Hurts, forcing him out of his rhythm. The rejuvenated Cowboys offense, meanwhile, has the momentum to put up points in their home stadium. Given the substantial home field history in this rivalry, we are getting locked and loaded with the Cowboys to cover. And now we head to the birthplace of Jazz, where the Atlanta Falcons enter Week 12 reeling after a tough 30-27 overtime loss at home to the Carolina Panthers. The game was hard-fought, but quarterback Michael Penix Jr. left in the 3rd quarter with a knee injury, leaving the team to scramble behind his backup Kirk Cousins. While Bijan Robinson put on a show with 104 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, Atlanta could not close out the game and now faces a challenging road matchup. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints, we are getting locked and loaded with the Saints to cover. And now for our Sunday Night Football matchup to survey, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming into Los Angeles reeling from a tough 44-32 road loss to the Buffalo Bills in Week 11. Their offense showed flashes. Running back Sean Tucker rushed for 106 yards and scored twice, and quarterback Baker Mayfield added both a rushing and passing touchdown. But the defense struggled to contain Josh Allen and the Bills' high-powered attack. Key injuries to guard Ben Bredeson, safety Antoine Winfield Jr., and wide receiver Chris Godwin may limit their ability to keep up in the passing game. On the other side, the Los Angeles Rams pulled out a close 21-19 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. They won, but did not cover the spread, which we predicted correctly. The Rams' defense was the story of the game, snagging 4 interceptions, including 2 by rookie Cam Kinchens, and holding Seattle in the final minutes. However, star wide receiver Devontae Adams suffered an oblique injury, which could hamper their vertical passing game. Despite this, the Rams have been dominant at home, going 5-1 straight up and 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 home contests. Looking at the historical series between these two teams, the Rams have largely dominated, covering the spread in 4 of their last 5 home games against Tampa Bay. Conversely, the Buccaneers have struggled on the road in this matchup, failing to cover in 4 of their last 5 trips to Los Angeles. Tampa Bay's road success against other teams is solid. They are 17-7 against the spread in their last 24 road games. Both teams did not cover the spread in Week 11, which could suggest some volatility. We expect a tight, defensively intense game where turnovers and home field advantage make the difference. We are getting locked and loaded with the Rams to cover. That wraps up another breakdown here on Locked and Loaded Sports. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest sports analysis and betting insights. More picks, more locks, and more action is coming your way. That's all for now. Stay sharp, stay ready, and get locked and